Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm really looking forward to spending some time with you. Now, yesterday we used the new colour of the Distress ink and we used it in the oxide, and that's the Scorched Timber. And we did some blending, and I said I'd come back and do a different card with it today. So I've come up with this design. And when I was sort of having a play, I just thought it would be lovely to have a corner stamped design and then a little bit of stenciling in the background. Now, once again, you know me, I'm just coming in to whet your crafty appetites, because I think you could easily do this as a square and actually have the centre design and have the stenciling all the way around. I mean, again, you know, there are so many alternatives for this. Also, you could have just sort of the mushrooms and maybe the grasses and make it more of a masculine theme. One of our lovely stags, maybe. You know, we have got so many different. What about the foxes? Anyway, as I say, this is just the starting point, and I know you are going to have so much fun. What I've done once again is try to use limited colour palettes, sorry, excuse me, for those of you who are our lovely new followers and haven't got, you know, you don't need every single colour. Well, now I have to be careful when I say that, because I am a crafter and I do have that thing of, yes, I do like, you know, I buy an extra. Every time I go and visit Lavinia, I'm like, oh, I haven't got that colour, I need that, or, oh, I need an extra brush. So I am a bit like that myself, but I am aware that not everybody has got every colour. So I am going to use a limited palette. That's what I'm trying to say in my way around of things. You know what I'm like, sorry. And I'm still struggling with my throat. So again, if I sound a bit funny, just ignore that. But I don't want to not see you. You know, and you can't catch my germs, can you, over the airways? Let's hope not. I'm sure they won't travel that far. To be honest, I know quite a few of you struggling yourselves. So if you are, big hug from everybody, virtual hug. Hope you get better soon. Come on, let's hang in there. Let's get some, you know, crafting done, and let's start to feel a bit better. Just before we start this, slightly I'm going to digress. When I was looking at my ink pads, I thought salvaged patina and scorched timber would go beautifully together. And you know the method where we drag the ink pad at 45 degrees across the card? Well, I had a little play just on a spare piece of card. Now, I think I love that colour combination. And I also think the pink, the saltwater taffy, would go beautifully with the scorched timber. So again, I'm going to be creating. And, you know, if Mr. Mojo's gone, I love just creating backgrounds. And once I'd done this, I suddenly thought the compass. I could see the compass working beautifully on here, or Sebastian. And honestly, your mind, once you start creating, but I'm definitely going to have a go with the pink and the scorched timber as well. So that was just a little by the by. I'm going to file that over there and actually start on our piece before I distract myself too much. And this is a piece of Multifarious card, and it's 5.5 inches by 5.5, because my card blank is a 6x6. And yes, I buy my ready-made card blanks from Lavinia. They're on the website, different sizes. I'm afraid I buy them with the ready-made card and envelope. And I'm going to come in with our Lavinia low-tack tape, and I always write on the inside, so I know exactly. And I'm going to start and just, I always go for the side that's towards me. And I'm just going to do these two sides of this bottom corner. And then I'm going to come in and just do a second layer for that. Just, might just move that up a weeny bit. Because you know what, if I leave a little bit, I'm going to go over that and get ink in there. I discovered years ago that it's better to have a little bit more. I used to try and be thrifty, and there'd always be little gaps and ink and water seeps in. Right, so I've got this lovely place to start. We'll file that over there. Scorched timber at the ready. And I'm going to use my lovely stencil brush, and again get some ink on my brush, but as always on the lid. Now this is a new ink pad, so lots and lots of colour. And yes, those of you with eagle eyes will see that this was my purple brush to start off with. And when I got the new Scorched Timber, I hadn't got a brush that was dedicated for my brown ink. So I gave it a quick clean on my Inky Binky. That's just staining. And I decided this is now my brown. So just, I know some of you may question that. So that's what that is. So ignore that bit of purple under there. Anyway, I'll just blend some off there, and I want the corner to be dark. If I bring in the finished piece, my idea was to have this corner dark and it blend away almost to white up here. So if that's the case, always start in the corner. And if you're worried, again, if you've got a new ink pad like me, just gently go on your masking tape and just flick some colour. You see that just in the corner. And I'm very loosely holding my brush. It is very much a tickle. So, and you see how nicely that just, and we want this bit a bit darker. So I'm just going to build up and slowly go out to the sides. Can you see? Just, and as I've got less ink on my brush, look, I can go a little bit further. And just building this up. I'm not going to add any more ink yet. I just want to see. And this is one of those where less is more, as it were. We do have some funny sayings, don't we? Now, I'm happy with that for the minute. So I'm going to bring in my moon mask. And I think I want that about there. And I'm just going to go around this. I'm not adding any more ink. In my opinion, just try with what you've got on your stencil brush first. Because, you know, you can always go dib in, add a bit more, but you don't want it too dark. This is a great way of practicing that lovely light touch. Now look at that. And again, we didn't add any more ink. So I'm happy with that because I want this to fade away to white. I do want this a bit deeper. So what I'm going to do is come in with my number 3, the smaller one. And this way I'm going to get a more concentration of ink in that area with my smaller brush. So pick some colour up from the lid. And just in this corner, I'm just going to add a little bit more colour. And you can come out as far as you want, and that will just help define that edge. And for me, that gives a nice contrast. So we're going to do some stamping now. And I've chosen 2 colours to use today. I knew I was going to use the Pinecone because that's my go-to brown. And I wasn't sure whether to team it up with a yellow, but I'm conscious we used yellow yesterday. So I thought I would team it up with Summertime. I like a bit of orange, but you could actually, it would probably look nice with, say, pink or even the green. So choices. Now, there may be a bit of shadow today, I'm afraid. It's so dark. It's one of those really dark, miserable days. So if there is, again, I can just apologise. Now, I'm going to start, and the stamps I've chosen today for my sort of main feature are these lovely Thistlecap Mushrooms. Now, there's 2, a larger one and a smaller one. So I'm going to stamp the larger one first, and I'm just going to pop him there. And I'm using the brown. And I'm just going to stamp this. This is going to be my main feature, so right in the middle there. Lovely. And then I'm just going to give that a wipe with my Inky Binky and then pop him back. And the next 2, I'm going for the smaller one, but I just want them at a bit of an angle. So remember, you can have them straight, look, or you can have them just tipping the heads a little. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to move it a little bit. I hope you can still see. So I'm thinking this one here. And you do need to give a little bit of extra pressure here. It's only a slight lip, but it's enough that it is a little lip. And I want the other one the other way, but maybe not as far. Don't want them to look symmetrical, you see. I want them to try and look natural. So if I alter the height, maybe there, and pop this one a bit closer, then for me that just looks a bit more natural. So we'll pop that back. And then next, I'm going to come in. I've got a lovely set. And this, it's got Foxgloves. I use this a lot. You get 2 stamps, and the big one is quite big. Great for using coloured inks on these stamps. It's all obviously in black, just as your silhouette. But I just thought this was a nice one to introduce this lovely orange. And I'm just going to stamp up the flower part, really. And I'm thinking maybe one there and a bit of second generation there. Just going to wipe a little bit of ink off the stem. I'm thinking a bit lower here and off the card, look. So if I do a second generation, I've still got some first generation ink there, so I need to re-ink. And although it's a bit wasteful, just pop it on my copier paper and then that'll give me a better second generation. Maybe a little bit of third there. Yeah, I'm going to stop with that one now. And come in with the field grass. And with the field grass, I want to almost just have this top bit. We've done this before and it's the wispy bit. So again, I'm sticking with the orange for the minute. And I just want some sort of wispy bits that just look like they're just popping out behind. And we'll just pop one there. And like I say, I don't need all of it, just that little, just the end bit. And it's great to do this with this stamp. The orchard grass is good for this as well. Just getting that top little, in fact, we can have one just in there, look. Right, give that a wipe. And then I know you're saying to me, this bit here, I know you're not keen on that, I can hear. So what I'm thinking for that is, on our lovely forest and moss, we've got this one. And this is a definite firm favourite. The woodland ferns would look good. I've got to confess here, I did go and look in my box for woodland fern, but they have gone somewhere. I think they've gone on holiday. And I was going to use those, but I have a new favourite, so it's fine. I'm sure you feel my pain. And I've looked in the other boxes just in case I've put them in my wrong box by mistake after doing demonstrations, but they've definitely gone on holiday. So I'm hoping my woodland ferns come back to see me. So I've just done first and second generation down there. Again, just to add a bit more interest at the base. But when I look at it, for me, I've got too much orange here. I love the orange, but I want it to be an accent rather than take over the whole design. So what I think I need to do is get the field grass back. And I've mentioned this before, if I'm not sure when I'm designing something like this, I will take a photograph on my phone at this point, add some more stamping and take another photograph and compare the two. Now, I'm just going to put the lid on my orange ink, otherwise I may pick that up by mistake because I am that sort of crafter. So with the brown, what I'm thinking is, if I just add a couple of lovely brown field grass just in front of our lovely foxgloves, I think it will just tie the whole thing together and the colours will look so much better. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overcook it. Yeah, that's enough. I like that space there. I like that there. Maybe it's second generation. I know. Get my acetate. No, definitely not. Right, leave that. What I do want to add is one of our lovely butterflies. We have a set of 4, and these are fabulous. If ever you want to add any perspective, because we've got a larger and a smaller, you can have a butterfly close and one further away. Such a gorgeous set. But I'm thinking just one. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't like butterflies or you're sending this to somebody, leave the butterfly off. Could add the dragonfly or just leave it without. I'm thinking there. So I shall just give that a bit of a blot, find a clean piece of copy paper. Just because that Versafine Clair is a slower drying ink, and also it is slower to dry on your masking tape, you will find that. So what I'll do now is I want to just add a little bit of colour to these mushrooms. So I'm just going to take a little bit with my number 3 brush and just take the whiteness off them. I don't want to add too much colour, just a little bit, and look at that. Very quick and simple. But I don't know if you can see, it just takes that stark whiteness away. So what we can do now is remove this first lot of tape. She says, carefully thinking, is that the right thing to do? Now, again, you know I like to give you options and stages. So you could leave this at this point and put your sentiment here. But I just thought it would be nice to add another dimension to this. So, again, taking the ink from the lid, look. I'm just going to come in like we did before. And this is why it's important that I blotted this, because I don't want that ink to smudge. Just going to add a little bit of the brown ink. And again, not too much. Gently, gently. Just taking almost the starkness off that area. Now, you could protect this if you want, but because I can see, I'm not going to go over that. And I decided I'd go for the Stencil Leaf Trails. And if I carefully put this bit here, look, I like the way I can get that branch. It is worth, sorry, excuse me, it is worth looking at your stencil and spending a little bit of time getting it just right. Now, I don't want to go up here, so I'm going to hold it with my finger. Just to remind myself, I'm going to do this bottom edge first. So again, gently, gently, I'm just going to tickle over that area. And if I lift up and have a look, you see, and that's just enough. If I take that away, can you see, I don't want this to be too dark. So this is my next area. I could have done it all in one go, but for me, I'd rather do, you see, look, if I do that, I would end up with a line. So I think if I look, I'd like that going right up there. So if I put that there, and hold that where we've already stenciled, twist that, there we go. Right, let's pick a bit of ink up, let's try that. Start at this end again in the corner where it's darker, and gently, gently stencil our way up, and let's have a look. Oh, lovely. I thought I might have needed some more colour, you know, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with that. I like that. But what I will do just before I take my tape off, look, I'm just going to pick up from the lid, and again with the smaller brush, just add a little bit more in the corner, look, just to define that edge. Now, if you want to draw a line with your fine liner, remember we've got our lovely fine liners, we've got the brown. So you can draw a line if you want. I'm not doing today. But what I think I will do is just add a couple of little water splats just in the background. And then while they're faux bleaching, I'll just get my pastel pencils out, which I've got very little room on my craft table at the minute, so they might have to be down next to Eric. And I'm just going to add I don't want too much on here, just a little bit. I want to keep it quite sort of sepia tones with that lovely brown. So I think that might be enough. And if I get my kitchen paper, again, I'm going to block that because I don't want it to be too faux bleached. I just like a little. So you can now take your tape off, but I like to just pop my heat tool over two things. It'll dry any of those water splats, but it's just that extra for my low tack tape. And I just think that looks so pretty. Now, on my original one, I've added some Posca splats, and I've gone for the lovely glittery orange one. But I don't want to add too many. So I'm just gently, but if you don't want to add them, you stop at this. I know not everybody likes them. I just want a few to come right across to make it a lovely cohesive design. But it's totally up to you. And then my finishing touch, I just want one of my lovely stickers. Now, if you want, you could stamp a sentiment. I mean, this could cover so many occasions, couldn't it? New house. Let me have a look. There's one here, rambling. That'll be good for me. I do feel as though sometimes I ramble on, so I do apologise. Let me think. Oh, there's so many here that I love. Express yourself, I think. Yes. Oh, no, rest and relaxation. Right, changed my mind. Pop that one back on. Well, we can, can't we? We're allowed, we're crafters, we can change our mind. Right, and as always, on my scissors, so I can pop it in the middle, look. I can pop it here, or I could pop it here. Well, actually, maybe I could put one on each. That would be nice. Have I got one? Yes, I know. So I'm going to put rest and relaxation on there. And I've just seen, and I've lost it now. I just saw unwind. There we go. Thank you for pointing that out. I saw it then, I lost it again. So we've got unwind. Right. So we're going to have that there. There we go. So I hope you like that idea, and you can see the contrast and how lovely we can get such a dark colour with that lovely brown, but also that lighter shade. So there's my original. So this one I've just popped some brown card behind it, and then on my 6x6 card, and that one, I mean, maybe some orange if you wanted the orange to pop a bit more. I mean, if you wanted, I mean, I like this because it's all flat, but if you wanted, you could even decoupage your beautiful Thistlecap mushrooms. That would be lovely. You see, I've got so much homework for you to do. And maybe try it in different colour tones. I think these in blue, because I think the blue would go. Warm breeze. I might have to have a go with warm breeze. You see, I'm even giving myself homework. So you take care. I hope the rest of the week is kind to you. And I'll pop back soon. Lovely to spend time with you. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.